Mudbound is directed and co-written by Dee Rees and stars Carey Mulligan, Jason Clarke, Garrett Hedlund, Jason Mitchell, Rob Morgan with Mary J. Blige and Jonathan Banks. The film is set in rural Mississippi in the 1930s and 1940s and tells the story of two different families and how they interact with each other and how their race, love and hatred between each other really does affect and shape their lives forever. I think the most striking element for me is that this is a movie about race relations in the 1930s and 1940s, a time which doesn't really get explored in other films about race. Usually race movies are set in the 19th century, around slave era, or something closer to the civil rights movement. But here, it's this awkward period where it's post-slavery, but it's starting to feel more, segregation and Jim Crow laws, something closer to what the civil rights movement was trying to break down. And that makes this movie so heavy. The way that Dee Rees has captured this story, the vision that she has for how she wants to make the characters interact with each other, how these two families live on this farm, is incredible. There's so many things that she has wanted to put in this movie, that she does put in this movie, that are incredibly unique. There are different perspectives that usually get overlooked. Usually it would just be about a couple of men being farmers. But Dee Rees makes sure that we see predominantly the female side to it, the side of the wife, the matriarch, how she deals with the situation that they're in. Both Carey Mulligan and Mary J. Blige play the different mothers to the two families. And they have very different experiences, but they do interact with each other and they help each other through raising children in this time, in this setting, dealing with their husbands, dealing with their sons, dealing with so many different parts of their family. The other side of this movie, the other side of the race relations and how Americans are dealing with farmland and trying to survive in that scenario, is the fact that we have two men from the different families going off to fight in World War II and coming home to find that their town, their home, their family is incredibly different, especially with Jason Mitchell. His character, he's a black man, and he goes off to fight in war, and he finds that Germany and France and the people in those countries are totally accepting of him. They don't care. They just see him as another person. He finds love out there, and he feels free. But he has to come home and finds that that is not the scenario in this town. So then he finds Garrett Hedlund's character, who was also in World War II. He comes home to find that his family are terrible. They're just terrible people who constantly just belittle him and will make him feel down on his luck already after he's experienced such horrible trauma. So Garrett Hedlund and Jason Mitchell, their characters come together and they form a strong friendship. We get some wonderful performances from Mitchell and Hedlund. Mitchell was already a great actor to me because of Straight Outta Compton, but Hedlund, this is his best role I've ever seen him in. They are both fantastic actors, but I think that all the praise, the real true praise, aside from all the other actors, Carey Mulligan does a good job. Her character is incredibly strong-willed, and she will tell her husband off in some really, really good scenes. But all the praise really does go to Mary J. Blige. She's incredible. She's incredible not for the reasons that you might think. She doesn't have some big monologue where she expresses all of her emotions. No, she's incredibly subtle. There is only a couple of scenes where she'll let go or she'll really show you what she's feeling. The rest of the time, she's keeping it all bottled up as this incredibly strong woman. She's not afraid to tell people off. She's not afraid to stand up to racism. She's not afraid to not even look at her son when he goes off to war because she knows that she cannot express that kind of emotion because it's bad luck. But then as soon as he comes home, she feels like this incredibly caring, loving mother. She feels like that the entire time, but she goes back and forth through so many different emotions. It is a truly incredible performance. I think it's the best of the entire movie. I think that Dee Rees, the way that she directs this movie is truly incredible. The way that she works with cinematographer Rachel Morrison, wow. Because Rachel Morrison shot this movie almost in a perfect way. The way that she captures sunsets, the way that she captures the dirt on people's faces or the mud on their fingers, or the way that, for example, Rob Morgan will walk out into a field and stare at the sky. And these are such incredibly striking images. She can even make a window, a normal window, look elegant. I wouldn't say that Mudbound is totally perfect. I loved so much of this film, but I think that the times when the movie goes back to the World War II sequences, where we have Garrett Hedlund in his plane, or we have Jason Mitchell's character in his tank, they feel like the most limited sequences, because this movie was not made on the biggest budget, about $10 million. Those scenes really feel like they couldn't do too much because it's too expensive, so they'll just show one street or one tiny little cockpit. And sure, that makes it a little claustrophobic, but it's probably my least favorite sequences of the movie. It also comes out of nowhere at times. Nonetheless, I will say that Mudbound is definitely one of the best films I've seen this year. I'm so thankful that it's available right now on Netflix. You can go out and watch this movie right now. Instead of going out to the cinema where it might not have made that much money, Netflix obviously saw this film at Sundance and thought, we need to give this story the biggest platform possible. It's filled with fantastic performances, wonderful cinematography, and all around solid direction from a filmmaker that needs to tell more stories. And I definitely say that Mudbound is a film that you should throw all your money at. So Mudbound, have you seen it? Please tell me what you think about it in the comments below. There are going to be videos linked down here or one over there. For more Mr. Movies, please press my little face right there. Thanks for watching.